The airlines are just one of the many industries hit hard by the coronavirus pandemic, with the number of air travelers plummeting 96%. Half the U.S. fleet of planes is grounded, and the planes that are taking off are nearly empty, averaging just 17 passengers per domestic flight. Congress has given the industry $50 billion in financing, either as loans or grants. Despite that assistance, the four biggest carriers reported massive first-quarter losses last week. One of those airlines is Southwest Air. Gary Kelly is the company's chairman and CEO, and he joins us from Dallas this morning. Good morning to you.
Hi, Margaret.
Is it safe to fly again?
It is. We're doing everything possible to encourage people to come back and fly. We're cleaning airplanes. We're requiring masks of our employees and our customers. We're using very deep cleanings every night. We're using electrostatic misters, which will kill the virus on surfaces for up to 30 days. We're exercising social distancing. And on board the aircraft, we won't be booking airplanes full so that people can spread out. So absolutely, we're doing everything we can to make it as safe as humanly possible.
And you stop things like food service and the like. I mean, those sound like good measures, but, you know, we had a guest on our program last week, Barry Diller, who is a big investor, and he said it's just absurd if you do things like remove the middle seat to have some spacing. I mean, to his point, you still have a confined space. You still have a shared bathroom. You still have people who are walking down the aisle, going to their seat, walking past you. How much risk is there? What do you think the measures you're taking do to offset everything else?
I don't think the risk on an airplane is any greater risk than anywhere else. And in fact, you just look at the layered approach that we use. It's as safe as an environment as you're going to find. We're using hospital quality disinfectants, HEPA air filters to make sure that the air is properly filtered and clean. We're not going to remove middle seats or prohibit people from sitting in middle seats, but at the same time, we won't book the airplanes full. You know, if you choose, all the middle seats can be open.
So I know you said at one point that what you're going through now was worse than after 9/11, which is extraordinary. But I mean, is the bottom line here that cheap travel is over for Americans for the future, that the business is just completely changing, and that the future is uncertain?
Well, sure, the future is uncertain, but you know, right now we're at a low point, and so I just don't think it's right to extrapolate today into perpetuity. Mm-hmm. So we'll get through this, but in the meantime, I think it's actually the opposite. After 9/11, Herb Kelleher was famous for saying that we're all low-fare carriers now, because that's what it's going to take to get people flying, and that is certainly the case today. And I think we're very well prepared for that. We've got a strong balance sheet, we've got a lot of cash, we've got a great business model and a low-cost structure. But we're going to have to fight our way through this, and obviously I'm anxious to see how the travel demand develops here in the summer.
It's picking up?
Well, I think we've seen the bottom here in April. Each week after the first week of April has gotten successively better. I think May will be better than April was, and I don't think June will be a good month, but hopefully it will be a bit better than May. And then we're looking forward to July and August, and we'll just have to see. There are bookings in place, but those could easily be canceled. So it's really one day at a time.
Southwest has taken about $3.2 billion in federal aid. Do you expect to take more?
You know, I mean, the first thing is to really thank Congress, the administration, Secretary Mnuchin, Secretary Chao, because what was needed for our country was a lot of liquidity. And the CARES Act was exactly what we needed to avoid a really serious depression. We've applied for another government loan. I don't know that we'll take it. I think what the government has done for us with this CARES Act is it really has opened up the capital markets. A month ago, we couldn't have borrowed money, we couldn't have raised equity, and we were able to raise $6 billion last week. So I think that we've got what we need to see our way through, but if we have to seek another government loan, we will do that. We have until September to make that decision.
And we know because of the first round you took that you can't lay off anyone until after September 30th. That was part of the CARES Act provision. I know, though, you recently told employees that if business doesn't pick up by July, that you'll become a dramatically smaller airline. What does that mean? Are you laying the groundwork for job cuts?
Well, you know, I think you summarized it well with your comments. The planes are virtually empty, and we've got at Southwest alone, we've got close to 400 airplanes that are parked. The demand is just not there. So obviously, if things don't improve, we have to downsize. We've never had a furlough in our history. We've never had a pay cut in our history, and I'm extraordinarily proud of that. And we certainly don't want to break that record. What I have promised our people is I don't know what the future holds, but I do know that we're very well prepared. And the very last thing that we'll do is have an involuntary furlough. So we'll just have to see how things play out and do our best to avoid those kinds of results.
Thank you very much for your time.